Reporting in from Sector 11, I'm Devin.
I'm Zach.
And you are listening to the Godder Damm Gazzette.
Now if I had my way, I would leave you here to waste your
Zach, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited to have you on as a guest here at the Godder Damm Gazzette.
Oh, absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
3 favorite Coheed songs. What was your favorite Coheed album? And how did you get into Coheed?
Wow.
I know. Starting off strong.
Oh, yeah, you're hitting me hard. All right, so if we were to do 3 favorite songs from like when I was listening to them back in the day.
Yeah. Or if you want to include your own songs, man, listen, go for it.
How about I do it like that? Like there were three songs that I could point to, I guess, that would be like my favorites from. So I'll preface it. All right. I got into the band because I was playing in a band and I grew up in the same general area as the rest of the guys. Right. So Claude and Travis are kind of like Rockland County and Mike and Josh were in Ulster County. Really? I was in Orange County, which is right in between. Right. So I was playing in a band and the guys in that band, I hadn't heard of Coheed. This is also a weird fact. The singer of that band was actually Claudio's cousin. You know about that. So anyway, they were like, you know Rob's cousin's band. I was like, no, I don't know Rob's cousin's band. They were like, Coheed and Cambria. I was like, I don't know it. So my friend Mike, still one of my best friends, dearest friends. He's a great mastering engineer, actually. He was like, here, listen to this. And he gave me Second Stage. And like we were driving in my car. We were actually driving back from DC, back up to New York. So it was a long drive. And we listened to it the whole drive. And so Time Consumer was an instant like, what is this? This is different. This is cool. I like this, because obviously there's like more happening rhythmically that's kind of interesting than some bands were doing back then. And obviously I was drawn to the rhythm section. Mike is like fantastic, amazing bass player. So playing some cool stuff. And I was like, this is really cool. I like this. So that was my introduction to the band. I actually still have Mike's copy of Second Stage in my closet over here. I never gave it back to him. I kept it because that drive was so long. We left in the evening. We didn't get back until like the wee hours in the morning. I just dropped him off at his mom's house and he jumped out of the car and then I drove home. And I was like, I'll give it back to you. And he was like, yeah, it's cool. And I still have it. I never gave it back.
So would Second Stage be your favorite?
So Second Stage was my introduction because it was In Keeping hadn't even come out yet. This was like super early. But Time Consumer and Delirium Trigger were the 2 songs on that record that like I was like, oh, this is cool. And obviously I like the whole record, but those 2 songs. Then when In Keeping came out, I remember going to like an FYE because they were like, that was a big store back then. That's where you kind of went for music and stuff. The day it came out with my brother, actually. My brother and I went and got copies of it. And so I'd say like my 3rd favorite song from that time would have been like The Crowing. I was so pumped about that song. I know there's pretty stock answers, maybe. I'm not like blowing anybody's minds or whatever, but those are songs that like spoke to me. I was like, this is like interesting and cool and different. And so yeah, that's all wrapped up in a little bow how I kind of came to know the band and some early songs I liked.
Now, what about songs that you've played on? What are your 3 favorite of the Zach era?
Oh, that's a weird one. There's different reasons that I like different songs. I don't know. So let's see. I would say I have weird connections to the songs I played on. So some of them are favorites for like weird sentimental reasons, but like only to me. Like Domino is one of them, because it's the first song I ever tracked. It's like that's like the beginning. Anytime I hear that like verse riff, it still reminds me of the first time I heard it, which was a scratch guitar track. It was like just a guitar and Claude's voice, and that was it. So it just reminds me of a time, you know. I still have that file actually, which is funny. But yeah, so that would definitely be one. I think another one that's kind of a favorite for a different reason would be Evagria. But that's because it's like I was such a Medeski, Martin, and Wood fan that to be on a track with John Medeski was a big deal for me. So that was cool. And that's, so, well, yeah, I guess, yeah. It's and then if I could name another one, I would say like, I don't know. I mean, so here's one, Nighttime Walkers. That one I really like. It's kind of different.
Yeah, that's a deep cut.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, it might be a little divisive. Maybe a lot of people, I remember seeing some people weren't so into like the second half of Unheavenly Creatures maybe, but I like that one. I tend to like the songs that people don't like. I love Young Love. It's like one of my favorite songs on Color Before the Sun, and people are like, I hate that song. I'm like, I love that song.
It's a great song. Well, I mean, listen, Color Before the Sun. I'm a little biased, but
I know.
It's a great song.
So I feel like I'm in a safe place with you that I can talk about that being some Color Before the Sun hot takes. But no, that's one of my favorite songs on that album. I remember even when we were like rehearsing it in Claude's basement, I was like, this song is cool. Like I dig this. It's not complicated, it's not crazy, but it's just a good song. And I like, it resonates. And for whatever reason, it resonated with me. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. And going back just a little bit, maybe like 20 years, you were at the Starland Ballroom show.
I was, yeah. I didn't even know I was, actually. That's kind of funny.
So nothing really stuck out about that show for you?
No, it was cool. I had a great time. This was around the same time I was playing in that band, and all of us went to that show and hung out and had a great time. And, I was just like, oh, that was a cool Coheed show. Right on. Sick. And then off. And then, like, yeah, this is kind of funny because it was like 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, probably closer to 5 though. I don't know how it even came up, but Josh was talking about it, and he was like, I honestly don't even remember how the conversation started, but we were talking about that show, and I was like, oh yeah, I saw you guys at Starland once. He's like, oh really? I was like, yeah. My Chemical Romance opened for you guys. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, My Chem opened. I remember pulling up and the drummer was loading in from the back of his car. Like, My Chemical Romance's drummer's loading in his drums from the back of the car at Starland Ballroom. And Josh was like, that's the Starland Ballroom. That's like the DVD show. And I was like, what? No, it's not. Really? He was like, yeah, that was it. I was like, oh, well, I was there.
Were you at any of the other recorded shows? Like
No, I didn't go to Hammerstein Ballroom or anything. No, I wasn't at those.
One of my first shows was the Hammerstein Ballroom show, the Never Ender. And
yeah, that's right.
I know now that probably it wasn't the coolest thing, but after the show, I waited around back, and you came out, and like you were like trying to get into a car to like maybe go to the hotel or whatever, but you took the time to stop and sign one of my laminates, and that was like a core memory of being a Coheed fan, and I just like never really got the chance to thank you properly for that, and also I'm sorry to stop you on the way after playing a long ass show like that.
Not at all. That's awesome. That's all. It never bothers me to talk to people or sign things or and you were probably a kid back then too.
Yeah, that's a decade ago about too, so it's like crazy.
Yeah, it's gotta be right close. Oh my goodness.
And Never Enders are no small feat, and you had the near insurmountable task of having to learn the entire discography. What was the most challenging part to learn, and what was like the part where you're like, oh, I got this?
Across it? Oh, I don't know. I think some of the more challenging stuff is definitely we just did the Good Apollo Never Ender in Australia, and revisiting the Willingwell stuff was quite a an undertaking. You know, you think I was like, oh yeah, it'll be no big deal. Like I'll be all right. I got this. It's fine. I'll you know, because we did a bunch of touring, and then we had like this small chunk of time off, and then we were doing Good Apollo at Furnace Fest, and then we were doing it When We Were Young, which we didn't actually get to really do it at When We Were Young, but you know, let's say we did. I don't know. So I had this small chunk of time, and I was like, oh, I gotta like get in there and play through a lot of that record because I haven't for a while. I was like, it hasn't been that long though. I should be all right. And then I remember sitting down and listening to it, and I was like, oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot about this part. Wait, does this keep it? Oh man, that's right. This part too. So I kept like coming at me, and I was like, it's gonna take a minute. So I would say some of that Willingwell stuff, like we were doing, we were doing Fuel for the Feeding End over the summer with Primus, right? That was one that I remember when I first kind of got that together, I was like, all right, cool. This feels good. I got it. And obviously I you know, there could be debate about this, but like I play some of it differently, which much to some people's chagrin, I guess, you know. But yeah, that's probably one that stands out to me.
What was really cool about Furnace Fest was a lot of bands did full album playthroughs. Obviously, you guys did Good Apollo. But the smoke cannons that you guys had, that was like...
Yeah, I didn't even know about that until we were there.
Oh, that must have been like a fun little surprise.
Yeah, I had no idea. Devin, no, I don't know anything about anything, man. Nobody tells me anything.
Hey, that's fine. Just show up and rock out. I mean,
that's it.
So, while you're learning all these parts and just throughout the years, how was finding your rhythm with Josh?
That was kind of instantaneous almost. He's so great. Like I don't have to think. I don't have to worry about it. I just fall in. It's easy. And we don't really talk about anything. We don't like, there's no, well, I mean, every now and then something will come up, but we don't like get together and brainstorm as a rhythm section and like, well, I'm going to do this. And it's just like, we're on the same, like, same wavelength, I guess. I don't know. Like I can usually hear where he's coming from and where he's going and react accordingly, I guess. You know, so it's pretty, I mean, he's an easy, I'm lucky. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I get to play bass with Josh playing drums. That's a dream job.
Well, speaking of dream jobs, you are still recording and putting out music, and we have 2 singles that came out off of an upcoming record, Vaxis 3. Now, I know you probably can't talk too much about the new record, but are there any songs, since we do have the titles, are there any songs that you're really excited for the Children of the Fence to hear?
Yeah, there's a bunch on there that I'm pretty excited about. I was talking about it with my dad today, actually. We were talking about it. There's a song called Play the Poet that I really like. There's some stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah, there's plenty of other. There's a lot. There's a lot that I'm excited about that record.
So you're saying that you like it. So are we gonna like it or?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. That's true. That's true. That's the funny thing too. I always joke about that when they're when the question comes of like songs, singles and stuff like that. I don't say anything. I'm like nobody. The songs I like nobody likes. So it's probably better. Whatever I think is cool, go the opposite direction, and you'll probably be in the right world.
Nah, that's wrong. That's wrong. But will we see the return of the Upright?
I mean, not on this record. Oh no, yeah, there is Upright on this record. I forgot. Yeah, a little bit. There's a little taste, which I recorded right here. Interestingly enough, like in my house, which was fun. But yeah, I mean, I hope one day. There's been talk for years about doing like acoustic shows, acoustic tours, that kind of thing. Like that would be a really special thing to do, I think. So hopefully one day we get to do it. and hopefully I could play acoustic for some of it. That'd be kind of fun.
That would be cool. The NASA show was like a highlight. That was
yeah, that was fun. It was stressful. Like walk out on stage to play one song and look behind you and realize that the National Symphony Orchestra is right there, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? This is crazy. It was very cool though.
So this room looks like a pedal heaven behind you. There's
there's pedals and records galore. Basses all over the walls too. Over there you can't even see. It's better that you don't see over there where there's more records and nonsense. And there's pedals over here, and there's this is supposed to be mine and my wife's joint office, and you can tell, I'm sure, just by this small little chunk that there's not a lot of her interests represented in here, so I feel bad about that.
I'm in a similar situation.
Yeah.
Luckily, though, we both love music, so it's like we got records over here, and we got poster books and CD walls and all that jazz. But
yeah,
I did want to talk about your pedal with the Bass Nerds through CMC Audio. You have that insane overdrive. I have mine on its way when they get into production. But that is so cool.
He told me that you ordered the first one. I was like, that definitely. He's like, what a guy. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I was using he gave me, I have one over there on the wall there, one of the prototype CMC, but that's what it's like a kind of a dynamic drive. So the harder you play, the more broken up it gets, but if you play a little lighter, it kind of isn't as crazy. It's a great pedal. He kind of like sent me one when we were in Europe. Like it met me when we were the day before we played Hellfest, like 2 years ago, I think, or something like that. Or last year, I don't remember. Whatever it was. We had a day off, and he sent it to the hotel, and I got it and threw it on the board. Loved it. It sounds great, and it's been on the board ever since. And every now and then things get switched around, but when I did the Bass Nerds podcast, they were into it. I wasn't the only guy that they've had some other great bass players who have kind of mentioned the CMC stuff, the prototype, and so they were like, oh hey, what do you think about doing like a limited run? I was like, let's do it. That sounds great. So I mean, there wasn't really a whole lot to it. I didn't like design anything. I just play it because it sounds good. And they were like, hey, we'll make a couple, and we did it in a like a kind of that olive drabby green color, which is a nod to like the Russian Big Muff, which is kind of an iconic bass fuzz thing that's like way expensive now. So but you'll see. I mean, a lot of bass drives and fuzzes. I have a bunch over here too that are like some form of green. That it's always like kind of tipping the hat to that. So yeah, that's kind of it. It's it's awesome. Those things sound great. They're super cool. Nice dirty sound. Super the dynamic aspect is really cool. That's one of my favorite things about it. So like if you dig in really hard, it gets like really overdriven, I like that.
I'm definitely excited to give it a shot. I have Claudio's pedal too, so now we got to get a Travis pedal and
get a Josh drum pedal, get a like kick pedal or something.
Yeah.
We got all the pedals.
Really fast. It goes really, really fast.
Yeah, with only one though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, before Coheed, you were part of Requiem with your brothers.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, you weren't?
I wasn't. No, I was never. Whoever said that, wherever that came up, it's not true.
So your brothers did not let you join their band?
Oh, my brothers and I would fight viciously back then. And yeah, I was not welcome in there. That band ripped. They were awesome. I don't know, there's probably no sound like recordings of it anywhere. My cousin has a CD still actually, but they were good. They were like Pantera-esque metal. Like just nasty. And both my brothers are great, they're amazing musicians. My middle brother's a guitar player, my youngest brother's a drummer, and they would just like, they also had that kind of like Pantera affinity too, where the brothers are like guitar and drums, you know, so like Vinny and Dime. But yeah, they were like riff machines, but I was never a part of it.
Wow, that's wild. Well, you were a part of Safest Houses.
Yep.
And then Life Before This with
RBT.
Then AM to AM.
Yep.
And then you also have credits since joining Coheed, working with Holy Andromeda on Sound Mirrors, Weird Science for the track All Eyes on You, and you played with the legendary Fire Deuce.
The legendary, that's right, the legendary Fire Deuce.
So, is there anything I missed?
I mean, well, connected to the Holy Andromeda stuff, that's my friend Brendan Rivera, who had a band called Looking Glass Wars for a while, and then released a bunch of records under his own name. And I played on, he did this record called Body of Land that's really great, and I played acoustic bass on a couple tracks on that, played upright. And then I actually, the only show that I've played in another band, like outside of Coheed, since I've joined Coheed, was playing with Brendan at the Trash Bar, I think, with my buddy Mike, who was in Safest Houses and Life Before This, the drummer. And we did, he had this record called No Ocean in Ireland, and we played most of that record at that show. That was like early on when I first joined Coheed. But that was a super fun show. I still remember that. I was talking to Brendan a couple minutes ago, actually.
What was the experience like being in these projects compared to being in Coheed? I know that's probably like a massive difference from some of these, but you were signed to Rise Records.
Yeah. I mean, well, that, you know, we did that record on our own, basically. You know, they gave us like a small advance. We bought a van. So we recorded the record at the guitar player Lou at his parents' house in their basement. And again, you know, Mike, he's a mastering engineer now, but he was always a great just audio engineer, so he recorded everything that we did. So we just had a bunch of songs, recorded them, then a bunch of stuff happened and the band kind of fell apart before the record came out, and then we were able to get back together and get the record out, and then do a little bit of touring. Then it kind of fell apart again, and then we got a different singer, and we toured some more, you know. But yeah, it was a different time. I was like a kid. I was in my 20s, and we were touring in a van, so it was a lot different, you know. Driving from, you know, Chicago to Portland, Oregon, to play a show, like that kind of, you know, just crazy stuff like that. Where we did that for, you know, weeks and months and years, and but it you know, that stuff is tough to keep going as you get a little older and you start having real responsibilities, and you know, you can't go out on the road and lose money for 4 weeks. So yeah, it's just a different experience, but it was awesome. I mean, it shaped a lot of, you know, who I am, and just gave me memories that I'll have for the rest of my life, and forged relationships with the guys that I did that with, that like it'll never, you know, there's something about slugging it out in a van for years with a bunch of dudes that, you know, for me anyway, in my experience, it, like, we were closer for it, you know.
So what would you say your favorite thing about touring is?
My favorite thing about touring has always been travel. I love to travel. I love going different places. I love seeing things. I love the there's an element of like the constant movement that I really enjoy, you know, where it's like you're not just going to one place and staying there and then going home. Like you go somewhere and then you just keep going to the next place and the next place and the next place. It's like go. And the thing that I like the most about it now is that I've been doing it at this level for a good amount of time. You know, I've been playing with Coheed for 13 years now. So doing it at this level for this amount of time, I think the cool thing is now, like, we go to these venues that now I know them really well, and I know the areas really well, and there's like the cool stuff. I like the good coffee shop that I like to go to, the cool record store, the funky music shops that we like to pop into, that kind of stuff. And then the other cool thing is, as I've gotten older, I've had, friends and family who have spread out all across the country, kind of all across the world, right? All over the place. So the cool thing about touring is it allows me to keep in better touch with friends and family. So there's like, when I go to Chicago, I always see my cousin and his wife, and that's awesome. And I always see, this is another odd one, but I always see my cousin's brother-in-law, who's a good friend of mine. Weird connections like that, I got to have lunch with another cousin of mine in Munich when we were there like 2 years ago. Like, so that, I have friends and family spread out all over the place, and it's really cool that this allows me to kind of see people more, because otherwise, I talk to my wife sometimes. There's some family where you're like, wow, I haven't seen them in 8 years, whatever, maybe more. And so this kind of, you get to kind of keep in touch with the people that you really want to keep in touch with, I guess. And
you also kind of dispersed too. You said you started out in Orange County, but now you're in Florida.
Yeah, now I'm in Florida. Yeah.
What prompted that move from New York?
My wife hates the snow.
Yep. Wow. Dang.
Yeah.
The snow. I
love the snow. It's my favorite.
Man. Yeah, we're in Georgia now, and I miss it. I miss it. It does not feel like the holidays right now.
It's weird, right? Yeah, I remember saying that the first year we moved down here, it was like 80 degrees in December, and I was like, this isn't right. This isn't right. Like, we're walking around looking at Christmas lights. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. I don't like this.
To be fair, I'm rocking a shorts and t-shirt even in the snow. So
yeah, that's true. See, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I get so cold. Now if it's 70 degrees, I'm like, should I put a hoodie on? I think I need a hoodie. It's terrible.
Well, looking forward to nicer weather. I can't believe I'm saying this. You guys are touring again with Mastodon and Periphery. Yeah. Tickets on sale today. You'll be seeing me a lot. How did this tour come about?
We had so much fun with Mastodon the last time that, things lined up and it worked out. And I love Mastodon. I'm so excited to do this. The nice thing too is, like, when you get to go out with bands that you've been out with before, there's no awkward getting to know you phase on tour. Like the first 2 weeks we were like, is that, I don't want to bother them. Maybe we'll talk some other. It's kind of cool. You can go in first day and be like, hey, how's it going? So that's kind of fun. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to touring with Periphery, because we got to do like 3 shows with them in Australia. I think it was only 3, right? Maybe 4. I don't remember. We did a few shows with them, and like, you get to talk a little bit on the second show. You don't really see each other on the first show. Everybody's like introductions happen, like, hey, nice, you meet everybody, maybe first show, whoever you meet first show, maybe you meet the second show, and then like third show, you're kind of talking a little bit, and then it's like, okay, see you later. I'm flying home tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it was quick. We definitely, the cool thing about Australia, we got to spend more time with the Intervals guys, because we did a bunch of off shows with them. So that was cool. We got to like hang a bunch, and those guys are great band, monster musicians. So that was cool. But it'll be fun to like actually get to spend some time like really hanging with the Periphery guys. And I'm looking forward to that.
Are there any songs that you want on the Coheed set list, Mastodon set list, or Periphery set list?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, like, I would listen. If it's Coheed set list, I'm gonna pick all the songs people don't like. So don't put me in charge of that, because you're not. It's a bad idea. It's just a bad idea.
Listen. I say you should be in charge, man. Let's do all the songs.
we do Nighttime Walkers and Young Love, and then nobody wants to come see us anymore. Oh.
I don't think that's the case.
No, I'm joking. I don't think there's any songs. I mean, there's songs off the new record that I hope make it to the set list on that tour. I think that remains to be seen, like what we're gonna do. I don't really have much of a say with the set list. Usually, it's just kind of is what it is, which is cool. But like dream set list for any of the other bands, I don't think so. I'm just looking forward to watching them rip. Like it's, I'll just be standing there with a smile on my face no matter what. So I'm stoked.
What is the best show that you think you've ever played, and what is the best show you've ever attended?
Oh, I ever played? All right, so the biggest one that pops out in my head was the last time when we headlined Riot Fest, like when we played the main stage before Smashing Pumpkins. You know, they had 2 stages.
It was raining a little bit.
Raining, yeah. That was cool. That was one of my favorite shows that I've ever played. As far as like, feeling like, wow, that was a moment. It's something I'll probably remember forever. Favorite show that I've been in attendance for, that's trickier because I've seen so many weird things that like I really, really enjoyed. Man, I don't know. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. That's really, really tough. Because there's so many. I've seen a lot of shows, so I mean, yeah, I'm gonna I don't want. I don't know. There's probably like 20 shows just like rattled through my brain. Yeah, I'll give you one that I was really, really excited I got to go see in 2019. Was it 2019, Kira? What? Oh, she's not out there. Never mind. I think it was 2019. My wife and I went and saw Phil Collins, and that was awesome. And it was like a big, like, this might be the last time we get to see him. So that's one that was like special. We had a great time. She was probably super annoyed because I was yelling in her ear the whole time because Lee Sklar was playing bass, and Lee Sklar is just, oh man, he's incredible. And so I just kept yelling in her ear about every cool like bass lick and line that he was playing, and she's like, I don't care about that. Like, I'm trying. So but that was a good one. That was a really good one.
So would there be any bassist that is presently with us or beyond that you would like to take a lesson with?
Oh, the list is like 10 miles long. It's crazy. Yeah. The short answer to that is yes. Yes, there are. And I still do every now and then when I can. There's a couple of guys I've taken like Skype, Skype or FaceTime lessons or whatever. I'm always trying to be a student. Just want to keep learning and hopefully get better. And I don't know.
I think that's a really good mentality to have. There's always something that you can add or change, think about different.
Yeah, I think I'm the worst bass player I've ever heard. So I'm excited to learn more and hopefully one day become an adequate bass player in my own eyes. Well, one day, maybe.
Yeah, one of these days,
I'll get it together. I promise. I'm trying.
So people listening to this podcast, they probably listen to this band, Coheed and Cambria. They're pretty good. But what are the bassists that you listen to? What bands are you checking out, or any musicians that you're like a big fan of?
Yeah, I mean, dude, you can see there's like a quarter of a record shelf there, but I'm a big music fan. I love music. Man, I look like all time or stuff I'm listening to right now, or what do you?
Everything, man. However you want to answer these questions is up to you.
There's just so much. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and it spans all these different worlds of genre. Like I don't probably don't listen to a lot of what people would assume I listen to as like the bass player in this band. But yeah, All right. Well, so let me think. Give me a second here. So I'm a big fan. All right. So I'll start with this. I'm a big fan of a lot of jazz. So I listen to a lot of jazz. Like a lot of jazz. Actually, there's there's a lot. You know, I listen to a lot of obviously I listen to rock bands, I listen to punk bands, I listen to metal bands, I listen to a lot of classical music. I like so many different things. If it's good, I like it. And if it resonates with me, I'm gonna listen to it. And if it doesn't, I won't listen to it. But I'll respect it. I pretty much respect anybody who's doing it. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's such a hard one. Yeah, I don't know.
Like if you could pick up a record right now and just throw it on the player and give it a spin, what record would you pick up?
Right now.
First thing that came to mind. Yeah.
First thing that comes to mind. So, oh man, there's so many good ones over there. I'll give you two. Ugh. All right. Here you go. One older and one newer, I guess. This is the Vandermark 5. 4 sides to the story. Vandermark 5 is a great band, great group from Chicago. Ken Vandermark, great multi-instrumentalist. This band is awesome. It's kind of I don't know, free jazz meets kind of punk thing. Not punk, but aesthetically maybe. You know, they would play. It's very cool. And then this I just got this yesterday. Tim Byrne, Tom Rainey, and Greg Walache. Yikes! Tim Byrne's one of my favorite saxophonists. So that's another one. Just interesting. That's what will probably go on in you know, when this is over. So
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, man. I know I'm sorry with all these like difficult questions.
No, it's not difficult. It's just that it's hard for me sometimes to like narrow down my brain will go all over the place and jump from like this to that to that to this to like just all over the place. So it's kind of cool to, I don't know. It's hard sometimes for me to like nail down like this, because I think like, oh, I'll say this. I'm like, well, but I don't know.
Well, I have one more question in that same style, and this will be used for the intro and probably outro of the show.
Okay.
If you could pick one song to get a new fan into Coheed and Cambria, what song would you pick?
So like, pick one song to play for somebody for them to become a fan.
If they've never heard Coheed and you're like, I want to show you Zach Cooper on bass.
Oh. Okay.
What song would you pick?
I'm going with Young Love. No. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think maybe a song like Love Murder 1 or The Gutter, maybe, depending on who it is and what their, you know, stylistic preferences are, I guess, maybe. But yeah, something like that. Maybe.
Cool. No, those are great songs. I think Old Flames has a great bass riff.
That's a good one too, yeah.
Goodnight Fair Lady.
Oh yeah, that's right. Goodnight Fair. That's a good one too. I like that one.
And The Joke, honestly, that was crazy. That is a crazy riff.
It is. I am so happy that song is out because I love that song. And when it didn't make the last record, I was like, bummer, man. That's a good one, but I guess, you know, it makes sense. But I hadn't even heard. I didn't, you know, I don't go back and like listen to, you know, there's songs out there like B-sides and stuff that haven't been released, and I don't like, I'm not listening to them all the time. So I wasn't even thinking of that song. And I remember we were at Claudio's house in Brooklyn a while back, like when after we had talked, he had kind of brought up the idea of releasing it and doing the split with the ranged and, you know, that whole thing. And he played it for us. Like, I think, you know, at this point, maybe it was like the master was done. So he played us the master, and I was like, whoa, I forgot about all of this. Oh my goodness. You sure this isn't too much? This is crazy. But yeah, that's a good song. I like that song.
And the last thing, did you ever think that Coheed would be a band to have their own cruise? And how have the cruises been for you?
I never would have even thought of that, and never would have crossed my mind that that would be a thing. But they are so awesome. So much fun. I think it's a really special thing for us to be able to like hang out with fans, and it's a much more casual environment, and it's not, you know, because like you see, like we'll just be out hanging out, you know, we're sitting in the casino with friends, or we're I'll go out and eat in the like the main whatever the buffet, right? Like it's awesome. I have so much fun, and you know, if people want to come up and say hi, it's awesome, and if they don't, that's cool too. That's all right. But it's fun. It's fun for all of us, I think, to be able to hang out with all the fans, and there's a lot of fans that become friends. You know, like we think it's like, you know, you spend so much time together and you hang out a bunch and you just become friends with each other. You know, so it's really cool. It's like a big family vacation, and it's super fun. And I know that I know that we all look forward to it for sure.
Well, that is awesome and good to hear. The alternative is that you guys feel like you're trapped in the middle of the ocean.
Well, that was the fear originally, you know, and I was like, I don't think that's going to be the case. But yeah, we're very fortunate. It has been just an overwhelmingly positive experience, and I look forward to many more years of overwhelmingly positive cruise experiences.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, we'll definitely see you there. And Zach, again, thank you so much for joining me here today in the off season for a little interview here on the Godder Damm Gazzette.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me, Dev. Listen, you're a friend. I don't care. This is awesome. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you, Zach. All right, this has been another episode of the Godder Damm Gazzette. I'm Devin.
I'm Zach.
Over and out, Connecticut. We'll see you next time.
Have we come to an understanding? Let's agree to disagree. Circumventing resolutions, and all they seem to lack can keep us coming back. Oh, when I drink from your cauldron, I see through your witching eyes. The more it reveals that we're broken in a love not meant to last, it only lives to die. You say never leave me alone. Don't want you in my world, throwing stones. This glass house isn't yours to go, so we've done games over long over wide. How can
Well, theme song time there. Well, with that, this has been another episode of the Godder Damm Gazzette. I'm Devin.
Hey, this is Zach, and you're listening to the Godder Damm Gazette. Oh, you want me to say I'm Zach?
And then
I figured. I was like, wait, I think I'm doing this wrong.
sorry, that was
No, this is
think that
perfect. This is
really
perfect. That's just me being an idiot. All right, ready?
All right, I got you.
I'm Zach.
We're gonna just do that again, I think.
Let's do it again.
Well, thank you for. All right, got to take a deep breath for that one. I'm sorry. Awesome, cool. All right, sorry about that little flub there, but
No, dude, that was awesome. You can use it. I don't care. That's great.
I'll let you go. Enjoy the holidays and time with your
You
family.
too. I hope you and your wife have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah, we will. All right, man. I'll catch you later.
Sounds good, man.
Peace.